button cuffs, or the traditional straight collar with either button or French cuffs. Every Paul Frederick shirt is expertly constructed of the softest 2-ply 100% cotton pinpoint fabric, with a longer shirt tail for a perfect tuck every time. Available in regular, big and tall, and trim fit sizing options, and with 55 collar and sleeve length combinations, a perfect fit is guaranteed. If not, exchange it for free. At other retailers, you'd expect to pay up to $80 for a shirt of this quality. But we're so certain that once you try our Paul Frederick Pinpoint Oxford dress shirt, you'll buy all your shirts from us. We're making it available at the exclusive introductory price of only $19.95. Plus, order today and personalize your shirt with a free custom monogram. That's an $8.50 value absolutely free. Call or click now to get your Paul Frederick Classic White Pinpoint Oxford dress shirt at the limited time price of just $19.95. Order today and we'll include custom monogramming absolutely free. Discover for yourself the comfort and style of Paul Frederick.
Call 1-800-652-6238 or go online to paulfrederick.com/TV. That's paulfrederick.com/TV. Order now.
Fox News Alert now. We've been telling you about a bank robbery in progress near Houston, Texas, and the Johnson Space Center. We are told that there are hostages involved in this case and that a bank manager has been shot. Joining us now on the phone is a former FBI hostage negotiator, Christopher Voss. Christopher, thanks very much for talking to us. What are police most concerned with right now as they try to make contact with this robber?
Rick, thanks. It's my pleasure. There's a couple of things that they want to make sure are true. They want to make sure that the bank robbers, of course, didn't plan to get trapped in the bank. As strange as that sounds, sometimes a bank could be a good place to deliberately provoke a confrontation with police. So they have to make sure that they didn't mean to get trapped. And if that's the case and the bank robbers still have a will to live, which if they demand an escape vehicle, if they make any demands involving money and escape, those are good signs. And then they simply isolate, contain, they try to let the situation settle down, they diffuse the emotions, and they talk these guys out.
Somebody's already been shot. That must change the situation dramatically than if no one had been hurt at this point.
Well, the timing of the violence is always something that has to be taken into account. They're going to want to find out exactly when and why that person got shot, and it'll be part of their assessment. Generally speaking, it sounds a little bit more like an accidental shooting, shooting born out of heightened emotions. Bank robbers are actually kind of hopped up on emotion when they go through this. They've got to make sure that's true, and when they find out, as they get a chance to test these things in the communication, and that'll help them understand how to negotiate this.
Christopher Voss is a former hostage negotiator for the FBI. Thanks very much for your help with this situation. As it continues to unfold, we should mention reports of someone being shot, reports of hostages, all coming right now from some local media in the Houston area. We're working to independently confirm that, and as soon as we get any more information, we'll bring it to you right here on Fox.
Okay, now to the story of one woman's New Year's resolution that has gone horribly wrong. The husband of this 35-year-old woman here said that she was always happy, she was always dancing. Well, now he wants to know how a routine cosmetic surgery procedure apparently killed her. Trace Gallagher live in our New York City newsroom. Hey, Trace, do we know what sort of procedure the woman had gone after?
We do, Arthel. It was a liposuction. What she was doing was having some fat removed from her belly area, and it was going to be placed in and around her buttocks area. Now, Lidvian Zelaya is the woman. She's 35 years old. She had had prior plastic surgery at this Strax Rejuvenation Center in South Florida and apparently was very happy with it. But this time she went in for the liposuction. 3 hours later, she was rushed to emergency where she died. Now, so far, it's very unclear if the liposuction was the cause of the problem or even if the liposuction surgery had already been underway. The Broward County Medical Examiner is now conducting an autopsy, but now they're looking at the possibility of maybe a blood clot. And as you might imagine, a lot of focus now is on the doctor who was either performing the surgery or about to perform the surgery. The family, you see there, has hired an attorney. That attorney says the doctor in question had his privileges revoked at a nearby hospital. Here's what he said. Listen.
People are not supposed to die undergoing plastic surgery, and they're certainly not supposed to die undergoing an elective cosmetic procedure as simple as this.
The family says that Lidvian Zelaya was in good health, that she was not taking any type of medication. And again, she had a prior procedure done at this Strax Rejuvenation Center. That center, by the way, has not yet commented. They, too, are waiting for the autopsy results, Arthel.
Yeah. All right. What a tragic ending. Thank you, Trace.
Okay.
Fox News alert, and we are getting new reports of yet another death from a series of powerful storms that have hit the Midwest. This time it's Missouri. Janice Dean is tracking the storms, and she'll join us live when we come right back.
Is the IRS keeping you up at night? Are you afraid of losing everything? Don't let the IRS control your life.
Hello, I'm John Harris, president of J.K. Harris & Company. The IRS can attach your wages, your pension, your savings, even your Social Security checks. If penalties and interest have made your IRS problem go from bad to worse, call us now.
Call the tax team at J.K. Harris now for your free confidential tax settlement analysis.
Call 800-249-9947.
I'm Hugh Jadette. As president, I promise your taxes will help build roads, bridges, and schools. Oh, not here, overseas. I'll keep using your taxes to pay over $100 billion a year in interest to foreign lenders, helping their economy, hurting ours. I'm Hugh Jadette. Let's keep borrowing.
Oh no, let's not. With a plan, we can stop sending billions to foreign lenders, grow our economy, and meet our needs. Visit ono.com to stop Hugh Jadette.
I just got a big fat check from ebates.com.
It's true.
ebates.com pays you to shop online. It's simple. Join, shop, earn cash.
No hassles, no gimmicks. And I get paid.
Just for shopping my favorite stores. They send me checks.
Ebates paid me $1,041.
$316. I've made $1,020.
Why wouldn't you?
Everyone should shop this way.
This holiday season, shop online, get cash back. ebates.com.
You're not the champ anymore. You walked away 5 years ago. What do you have to fight for now? This country loves a comeback.
Lights Out premieres Tuesday, January 11th, only on FX.
Fox News alerted the NYPD on high alert this New Year's Eve against a growing domestic terror threat as 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square in just a matter of a couple of hours from now for what may be the biggest New Year's Eve party on the entire planet. And welcome to a brand new hour of America Live. I'm Rick Fulbaum, joined by Arthel Neville. We're here for Megyn Kelly. And while people from all over the world celebrate New Year's beneath Times Square's famous Crystal Ball, police, hazmat, SWAT teams, and hostage negotiators are already on hand to keep all of those partiers safe as fears of domestic terrorism linger. Trace Gallagher is live in our New York City newsroom with more on this. Hi, Trace.
Well, you know, Rick, as you know, we've covered a lot of these New Year's Eve celebrations, and this one has a much more added sense of security, even though the authorities, I talked to them this morning, say there is no credible threat being reported here. There are counterterrorism authorities down there in Times Square. The security has ramped up. They are looking at every single angle of this, from the tops of the buildings with snipers down to a lot of security on the ground. The whole event in Times Square is surrounded by what they're calling a ring of steel. We're talking about 17 miles of fences and barricades, and every so many feet they have police officers on standby. Every entrance will be checked. As you go in, they're going to check to make sure that your backpack is clean, that you don't have any alcohol. And that's tough because when you're in this place, you really can't move around. So once you go inside this 17-mile perimeter, you're kind of locked in for the night until the ball drops. Every point being checked, live video feeds set up across Times Square. All of the manholes, even those 197-pound circular manholes, have been sealed shut. Along with the police presence, they will have chemical dog sniffers, they will have biological sensors, and even handheld radiation detectors. Listen.
We have several thousand radiation detectors that are deployed with our officers. We have large radiation detection equipment that we deploy on vehicles.
You saw Ray Kelly there. We've been hearing about maybe some budget cuts resulting in fewer officers being down in Times Square. We called the NYPD, and they have not commented on that at all. The NYPD says they will have plenty of police officers in and around Times Square, in fact, all over New York City, because there are other events going on. Just so you know, the ball you're looking at there, 12 feet in diameter. It weighs 6 tons, and it is 400 feet above Times Square. And as you know, they start dropping it a minute before midnight tonight. Megan will be there. Bill will be there. I won't. I'll be warm somewhere else. Rick?
Me too. Trace Gallagher in the newsroom. Trace, thanks.
Okay.
I'll be warm someplace else too. All righty, coming up on this now. Terror watch lists could start expanding. A new report revealing it is now easier to add a name to a terrorist watch list. Just one tip from just one credible source, reportedly enough to have a name placed on the list. What will this really improve the government's ability to stop terror is the question. Let's bring in Jamie Smith now, former CIA counterterrorism and CEO of SCG International. Okay, Jamie, first of all, let's go here. What was the thinking behind all this? If they do have access to this information, who has the access? How quickly can they act on that information? And really, why now?
Afternoon, Arthel. Good to be with you. The Abdul Muttalib's attempt to allegedly bomb Flight 253, the Northwest flight, last year, caused the administration's interpretation and even their application of the watch list to shift a bit. And what they've done is they've really lowered the bar in terms of who can be placed on the list. But in so doing, they're hopefully, the goal is to prevent people from coming into the United States that did not need to be here. And what they've done, the list comes from it pulls from the TIDE list. TIDE is short for terrorist identity, and it has to do with the environment, as far as where the terrorist names are coming from. And the TIDE list is managed out of the National Counterterrorism Center in McLean, Virginia. And what they're doing now is they're saying, look, we didn't have much information on Abdul Muttalib when he first came to light. His father mentioned something to our embassy in Nigeria, but it didn't amount to enough to place him into a position where people were concerned enough to do anything about him. And so looking at that scenario, they said, we need to change that. And so this master list back at the NCTC has been updated to allow people, if just a shred of information, one tip comes in on somebody, and then that person also comes from an area of concern, then they will be added to that list for consideration.
Okay, Jamie, two things. You mentioned the person will come from an area of concern. So first, I'll get you to tell me who would be most affected by this, and also, how do you go about vetting the people who are making the calls, who are submitting this tip?
Right. Well, the folks that would be most affected by this are going to be the adjustments that have been made. It covers people that are foreign, international travelers coming to the United States. And, this particular adjustment that they've made is going to target younger people and folks coming from third, fourth, and fifth world countries. There are about 14 countries that are on the list of suspected, where we want to place our scrutiny, if you will. And some of them are in Africa, Somalia, Nigeria, Yemen, Sudan. And these are primarily places where we know there are jihadist training camps, where we've had plots originate from, where people travel to receive training, that kind of thing. And so it's not profiling, it's screening. It's simply looking at these countries and saying, we know we've had problems here before, so it would be wise of us to focus our attention on these places and in these age groups, the 18, 20, 30-year-old group. Because that's a demographic of people that caused problems in the past.
So, Jamie, you mentioned that you won't be, or the folks who are overseeing this list, that they won't be profiling. Obviously, they're going to move forward carefully. What happens though if someone does inadvertently or accidentally end up on this list? Is it difficult for them to get off?
Well, what gets somebody on the list is classified, as well as the countries that are on the list being a classified issue. And that's by necessity, because we don't want people to game the system. If we know what creates a problem and puts somebody on the list, then the bad guys simply need to, not travel from those particular countries or not meet those tests to wind up on the list, and they can avoid that. But once you're on the list, you're on it. Yeah. And it's very difficult to get off of it. But again, it's mainly designed to allow our security officials to be able to pinpoint people coming from suspected areas of concern. And it's not profiling, it's not a racial-based issue, it's not religiously based, but it is as common sense as saying, look, if my house was broken into through the back door and I continuously leave that door unlocked, then that's foolish on my part. And if we know these areas of the country or these areas of the world have had problems and created problems for us, and we know that people from this demographic have also traditionally been the problem, then we need to look at them.
I get your point,
Jamie. In addition,
and I have to go, but I want to ask you before I go succinctly, if you can tell me, do you think this will be effective?
I do, in a way. I do. There are some problems with it. It could potentially scoop up a lot of people that are innocent, just travelers to those areas. But I think the benefit outweighs that, because not only is it going to focus on those particular countries and that demographic, but we're also going to also randomly screen people from all over the world that are coming into the United States. So I believe ultimately, as they roll out the new TIDE system in January this next month, that it'll tighten security up even further, and it should be a positive thing for us.
All right. Well, let's hope so. Jamie Smith, thank you very much.
Good to be with you again.
Meantime, the U.S. is ramping up efforts to take